cloud.
Okay, we're official now. Okay, hello to everyone.
Hi, Caren.
Many of you were part of my talk about exploring St. Louis. And that whole subject came about because of legacy. And when Yvonne brought some, like, what's a good topic? What do you think is a good topic? I thought, well, this is just a continuation of what I did before, because the whole reason I did these books was because my children asked me to do them. Well, the first one anyway. The second one, I was addicted by the time I got the first one done.
The whole book's upside.
Okay, I'm going to go through them. So I had them in my presentation just to let you know about them at the end. I'd already published the first one. This was in November, Exploring St. Louis, A Photographer's Journey. And I will show this. I think it's not in focus, but anyway, I will share this with everybody. I just want to point some things out first.
Hold on a second. You can keep
I
talking.
just need to maybe leave it by my face.
No, I'm gonna, no. Oh, come on.
It's fine.
No. Video. See, I'm learning this. I'm learning, blur my background. There you go.
Oh, much better. There we go. Now we're in focus. Anyway, so I love, just to say, both of the books have the bandstand because that's what I photographed the most in St. Louis. To me, it is the St. Louis icon. A lot of people say, someone said to me the other day, well, most people in St. Louis don't know about the bandstand. I also don't care. I like the bandstand in every season. I have more pictures of that in every season than anything I've ever photographed. So, it's the everywhere. And I love the arch, but everybody knows about the arch, right? Yes, cliche. Although it is on the back of this book, I had to do that. But anyway, so this book came about, like in my head, probably 3 or 4 years before I even started working on the project. Because my kids, I mentioned before that I did Shutterfly books and I still do them. I've been doing them over a dozen years for my kids, and I did them for my mother. Of the best family pictures of the year. And what I do is I put all of those pictures in Smug Mug albums for them before they go into the the hardbound album. And they have access to those. If they ever want pictures, they just know they can go to their album and put in the password. And, it's been a thing for like over a dozen years. We've been doing that, at least with the books. So that's part of the legacy that I'm talking about. Like, where are your pictures and how do you share them and store them? And what happens if something happens to you? And, what is your motivation? And do you do digital and print? I mean, there are just a lot of different ways to go about this. We do so much digital now. And digital is fantastic for sharing online. But when it comes to legacy, there are a lot of other ways to keep that going. So that's one of the reasons I do the books. I mean, back in the day, when we were kids, we were doing the albums with the, they throw them in and they'd have the plastic sleeves and that would destroy our pictures. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they would like destroy the pictures, and turn them yellow, and they just were not good. And there are a lot of ways, and then scrapbooking came around and people started getting more archival about all of it, and which was a good thing, except it was so hard and tedious to do it. However, that's some of us have that love language. We want to share however we do it. So anyway, my kids said, do a book of your pictures. And I had most of my pictures were based around St. Louis. So I decided to just use St. Louis as the subject. And anyway, I worked on this book for 2 years before I actually published it. And I just started gathering, just picking out the pictures, taking more pictures. It's a good excuse to go out and just visit the neighborhoods, right? But half of it was like deciding what was going to go in there, how I was going to lay it out, what made the most sense, and how it would be interesting to other people, because I really want it to be interesting to other people, not just my children. So anyway, this is the culmination of all of that. And I found it very therapeutic. And it really inspired me, and it continues to inspire me. And I think I'll be doing books forever. Like I started over a dozen years ago, but this is like the ultimate for me. So my kids were right. I really needed to do something with my own work because it really has been very satisfying. Anyway, I'm going to share this book. I will say this is hardbound, which makes it a lot more expensive to produce. I did it through blurb.com, And Blurb is great. I really highly recommend them. I've had good luck with them. In fact, they lost a shipment and they were going to publish all new books, like a dozen books for me for free. But then they finally showed up and it worked out fine. But they have been, their customer service and everything has been absolutely outstanding. So anyway, I started out with a little bit of a template, but most of it I just designed myself. It's very simple. And the Blurb software is very easy to work with. And I highly recommend if anybody wants to do a book to maybe go that route. Some people will do it in Adobe Design or use a Lightroom or, you know, some other. Well, no, I mean, you can use that to do Blurb, to design. But Blurb has a very easy template. If you're looking for something that's fairly simple and just easy to upload, you know, it's the work that goes into it, not the template itself, right? So anyway, I did make one mistake in here that embarrasses me. I had the wrong title on something, didn't catch it until after I got the book, which it was just silly. But anyway, only one person has caught it. So let's see if you can catch it.
Is it in the other book?
No, I must have proofread this 100 times. Not kidding. I did not want to make any mistake. But that being said, for the most part, it's in pretty good shape because I did work on it for a long, long time and I really wanted it to be perfect. But anyway, so I'm going to pass this around. You all can take a look. And last year I published it in November to give out as holiday gifts. So, you know, a lot of friends and family received that book and it was fun. You know, we've had a lot of good times with it. So in the meantime, I'm going to tell you something that happened to me that I haven't shared, I don't think, with any of you. After I published this book, 1 week later, I use social media a lot and I use LinkedIn a lot, and I get more feedback on LinkedIn and probably my personal page than anywhere. LinkedIn's been great for my photography. Well, you're on it all the time and you're active on it. And so that really makes a difference. People see your work a lot more often and they comment, you know, or like it or whatever. Anyway, so apparently I did it enough because a publisher from London contacted me.
Wow.
And he works for a company called Font Hill Media. Have you heard of Font Hill Media? Okay. And you all have seen their books. They publish a series called America Through Time, and they're in Barnes and Noble and the bookstores all over. And a lot of them are like, you'll see Gateway to the West and Kirkwood, and they're like sepia tone. That's one series. And then they have lots of other series. They have historical, they have abandoned series. They have all these different things they do, but they focus mostly on the big cities and the states and so forth. Now they're based in London. They do a lot of historical books out of London, but they also have another company, Arcadia Books, that is their sister company that's located in South Carolina. So this man contacted me, and he apparently looks for authors for their books. And he saw this, me being public, you know, talking about this on LinkedIn. And he told me they were starting a new series called Photographers America. And would I be interested in publishing a book about St. Louis, Kansas City, and Missouri? Because that's what well, it sounds great, but I had to tell you the rest of the story. So I had been working on this book, but I also bought a few of their books to kind of like get ready.
Yeah.
And actually, I think about 10 days after we got really going on this whole deal, he said, well, you know, submit all these things to the website. I submitted to the website, contacted him a week later. So we received it, and the committee will probably be looking at it the next couple of weeks. Never heard another word, never, until a week after I published this book. I got a contract from them, but they didn't know I'd published this book. So it was just 4 months later. They didn't even know I'd published this book.
So who owns the book, them or you?
Well, I own this book because I self-published it through Blurb. It's the kind of book I would have done for them, but they didn't get back to me. So I just went ahead and did it myself. That's kind of how I roll. But anyway, so they sent me a contract, and by then I was like, I didn't want to do the same kind of book anyway, and I would have changed it. And I didn't like some of the wording in the contract. And I'm like, so I sent them a link and I said, I just published this book. And if that's a problem, you know,
Yeah.
I could do something different, whatever. And it didn't hear back from them. So the communication's not good. However, That being said, I have been working on a Missouri version of this book for the last few months. After I got this one going, I started pushing stuff in there, and I still need to get to the west side of Missouri to finish it and get some more pictures there. But I'm going to go ahead and submit the Missouri book to them because I know the drill now. I know how to do it. I know 2 people in their community. They apparently like my work because I've sent them several prints, and maybe I'll get the Missouri book done this summer or by the time the holidays hit. And if they don't get back to me, I'm going to go right back to work. Well, and I've learned a lot. I tend to be very independent. It's why I have my own business and I like to be in control of my own stuff. But I also like the idea of having a book someday in Barnes and Noble or whatever. Now, that being said, I could have gone that route with this book and I would have made 50 cents a book. And I really didn't. And then it would have been a lot of hassle to deal with. And it's not like I'm making a lot on this book anyway, because I didn't do it for that reason. I'm really just having fun with it more than anything. But I wanted to have more control, However, this deal, you don't spend a penny. They give you like 6 books and 40% off all the books that you want to order, and they promote you like crazy. So I thought just for that experience, I would like to do it. So we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. I'm about halfway through the Missouri book, so.
To have them publish a book.
Correct.
Do they pay you anything to have your?
I get commission.
Okay.
It's like an 8% commission. This is a lot. Like they even say in their cover letters, you're not going to make a lot of money with this. This is your opportunity to get up to international distribution of your book. And what's really interesting is they pointed out a gal who started with their Photographers in America, which is just now being printed. And she lives in Cincinnati, and she has done 3 photography books for Cincinnati. And they're all different themes. So it's a really cool opportunity for people. Anyone can submit to them. It just takes a little while to get it all together. And I sent like a dozen pictures as examples of what will go in the book. So anyway, so this book I'm going to talk about a little bit more. Even though this is much smaller, this is considered a trade book. It's a paperback, a lot less expensive. It's less than half of what that book costs. And I wanted to have something that I could use for various reasons, But what's fun about this is the pictures aren't that much smaller. I have almost twice as many pictures in here. A lot, yes, this is twice the pages.
Yeah.
And they're smaller, a little bit smaller, but I have 145 pictures in here, 4,500 words approximately. In the book that they recommended, they wanted 145 pictures and 5,000 to 7,000 words. So I'm well trained with this book. I'm well trained with it. So one of the things I did, I mapped this all out in Blurb. And that company, because I looked at their books, taught me how to do this. And then after I did this book, I took everything in here and I put it in a Word document because I wanted something of my own, was to belong to Blurb.
Yeah.
And it was much easier to copy and paste things for like social media and all that kind of thing. It was really well laid out. Well, this time with the Missouri book, I'm starting with a Word document because that's what I will submit to the company. They obviously know what the Blurb software. So, or, what I would produce from them. So anyway, I have a plan for the rest of the year and more trips, that I want to do after I get my knees squared away. Anyway, but I can always do this no matter what's going on, which is really fun. So.
Studying Missouri is the topic in the elementary, like 4th grade. And if you didn't, well, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Nita. Missouri is a topic in the elementary level. If you did a excellent job of this, the elementary school level would purchase that for if you
For
kept
their
it
school
at the
library?
4th and 5th grade, no, they would not, they would purchase it for grade levels,
Okay,
for classroom
okay.
use. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, so keep that in mind when you're creating the Missouri one, that is content level for 4th grade.
Great idea, great.
Well, and to chime in here, when Holly wrote her book about Emmy the horse, she wrote it, Holly, what was it? 1st, 2nd grade level?
At second to third grade level, and I put lesson plans in the back because teachers are always trying to do lesson plans. So I kind of thought ahead and thought I'll do that. So it's lesson plans for parents, homeschoolers, counselors, anyone working with students.
And,
So yeah,
the thing there is Holly is also a teacher.
What,
So she
no-
knows,
I know
knows
that.
that, whereas this is a good reminder for you.
So when you get finished, I'll pump you up to, the fourth grade teachers at, the school that I taught, and we can try to get you in.
I also have connections where I can get you on a podcast with our history professor at Jefferson College. Because
Say that again, Holly.
I have connections to get her on a podcast through Jefferson College because we have the Jefferson College History Minute or the Jefferson County History Minute. But it's one of our history professors that hosts it, and he promotes all things Missouri. His name is Joe Thurman, and I'm sure he would be glad to do an interview about it.
Well, thank you. I think that'd be awesome. So this has been more than a book. It's been because I have explored the neighborhoods over and over again, just picking out the ones, because these are all like my favorite neighborhoods. And I need to do more, but I keep going back. I can't help it. It- I think you could probably read it from here. The text is so big. My son said to me, "Why is the text so big?" I said, "Because I'm 72." And most of my friends are
Working point.
yeah. So, I mean, I thought that was hilarious because I just thought, why not? I had room for it, And and in this tiny book, I was able to put this pretty big text in here. So anyway, so you'll see it's formatted similarly, but a little different because of the influences I had between the books. And with the purpose of hopefully being able to publish it with this company if they make it worth my while. Or they even accept it. I don't even know. I mean, I just saw they had a new book called Abandoned St. Louis. Someone did like the old buildings. Yeah. So, and it's,
Do you know who did that?
oh, I can't remember
Sue
the
Ricker?
name.
Was it Sue Ricker? Amanda?
Oh, no, no,
Ricker?
no. I don't think it's anyone that we would know. It's a man and it's not published yet. They're just promoting it now, like pre-sale. They do a lot of that. So anyway, and I think honestly, part of the reason why they may have chosen me is because I do promote stuff a lot. I've been on, all these platforms practically since they started, and it's just been a way of life. So it does pay off, I've received several great jobs from LinkedIn, from companies. So that's been really good. But anyway, this has been such a great experience. I am going to tell you, I don't know if I mentioned this in my talk, but I'm going to tell you about the picture on the back. This is one of the reasons I'm a photographer. And this is also about legacy. So, hi, Cindy. So this was taken from the 12th floor of the Civil Courts building. Have I told you this story before? Okay. So a couple of years ago, I was asked to photograph a celebration of life for a woman who had terminal cancer. She was in her 50s. She was a beautiful woman. You would never know she was sick. And she chose to have this, a celebration of life. And she knew the librarian that ran the library on the 13th floor. It's not a place that you can get to easily. You have to have permission. You have to go through security. So it was just an honor to be there. And I was up on the balcony and I took this picture and it was gorgeous. It was such a beautiful day. And it was such a tearful but beautiful celebration. And Susie, the woman whose honor it was given, and I walked around that balcony and I took pictures of her. I said, I want your portrait. And I took pictures of her and she kept pointing out parts of St. Louis that she wanted to remember as long as she was here. So after I finished it and I uploaded all the pictures to the web album, the woman who hired me said, will you make a photo album for us? So I made one in Shutterfly and I sent it to her and she said, we want 14 more copies for the family and the friends. So anyway, and I did that. That was my gift to them. And it was one of the most poignant experiences I have ever had in my entire life. And it's like, I felt like, purposeful in that situation. And I've had many experiences like that, but nothing like this one. So anyway, that's why I put that on here. And I am going to contact my friend and give her a book, of course. I want her to have this. Anyway, and so, I've been I've been selling some of these. I've sold out part of the first ones I ordered, just ordered another 20 of them. I wait for their sales. They do have sales that make it, a little bit easier because, you're paying for the book plus shipping and, but they run sales every couple of weeks. So I've had, like I said, it has been a wonderful experience. And it also is something you can give your people. It's not online. And we do the prints at the exhibits and all of that sort of thing, but I have 145 pictures in here that are very, special to me and other people. They've been part of our stories.
It's the kind of new way to scrapbook.
Oh, and it's so much easier.
It's so much
Oh.
easier and so much smaller.
Yeah, once you get it down, it's really easy. I did a 2-volume album for my first grandchild, and it took me months to do it. And by the end of it, I was so done. I was just, I don't ever want to do this again. And then all of this came out not long after that. So, it's,
Size too.
Yeah.
It's very easy to pick up, it's very easy, just to look through. But I love your journey, that's what I am finding interesting, the book's wonderful, by the way.
thank you.
But I'm also finding, and I remember looking at it, but what I love hearing is your journey. And who would have thought, ever, when you started all this, that it would lead, and you've done a lot with it would lead to something like this, and it was just because of the journey you were on. And that's what I find inspirational.
Well, it has been a great journey, something I want to share because I do love St. Louis. I think it's important for people to understand and why. It's important. When we did the show setup and had the art section at the Center for Spiritual Living, I was asked to give a book to the new reverend. I haven't yet. I haven't been back there yet. But anyway, they said, this is a great guide to St. Louis. She's from Washington, D.C. She doesn't know anything about St. Louis. So, yeah, right. That was in here. It's a guide. So
You know, you can bring that to, you can.
I would mention that. So I'll talk to him when I bring. So I did enter some pictures.
Here's a room full of people.
We have to figure out how to get you a little connecting speaker with a mic.
Can talk about that.
I think we can invest in that out of our,
I'm gonna work on
I
that.
think we can afford to invest, that won't be that much.
So,
Just want to add, so I'm finished with the book part, but
Okay.
I just think that this is something I highly recommend to everyone in our group. If it's something you're inclined to do, there are a lot of ways to print books, but this is a very inexpensive way to print a book of this. I think it's pretty good quality for, what I paid for it. So, and then, you can take it to another level, it's really so cool. But there are a lot of ways we can pass these along to our families and friends. And, access to our digital files. My children have access to my albums online. And one thing that was kind of interesting, my daughter did when my mother was still living, she had, gobs and gobs of pictures from the past. And she literally, this is kind of and they probably do this at Schiller's, but she scanned them. She scanned pictures and put them on a flash drive for my son and me to have. So, they're not like the professional ones that Schiller's would do, but it's just something that you could think of if you want to preserve some of your printed stuff like digitally, or take it to Schiller's and make it easy on yourself and have them do it. It's really a great gift. So that's the thing. It used to be we passed albums down to our families and we still are holding on to those. They're dear to us. But, in the digital age, there are some important ways to do it and to think about, because, we're not going to be around forever. And it's nice to have a piece of us with the people that we care about. Yeah.
He has password, use my password to my computer, but I doubt if it took any requirement, he would do much.
Speak
I have
up.
a flash drive, even my partner has all my images on my flash drive, there's no password, he'll take my flash drive, he's like, I'm working on a song and I'm gonna publish it, so I wanna go through your images and use it for a cover. he always runs it by me first, but you know,
Uh-huh.
I do have everything saved on a hard drive. But printing a book, I've done that for my mom, and my mom was alive, and it was like the best gift I could have ever given her. And, you know, and then when she passed away, I saw my sister grabbed it. And so hearing you talk about this again reminds me of the importance of having that, just something that's physical.
Yeah, that's.
I will share with you since we're on my computer here. See if I can get to it here.
Think about how can you use this book with the new publishing company? Something you had said that you had done this and since you already published it, is that in the contract or is that?
There's something in there about if you have something similar, the same book or whatever, you can't do it. And I wanted them to see this first and I didn't hear back from them. And I don't want to publish this book again.
Right.
But would they consider this really, since it's self-published?
Well, if I was gonna submit another St. Louis book, it would have to be different pictures, different type, it had to be
Yeah,
completely
right.
different. And the thing is, the difference too is I designed this 100%. It's nothing super fancy, but it was all under my control.
That's where they're at here.
Well, they designed the whole book.
They-
We just
they-
give them the text and the pictures and they design, and they have a very set way of doing things.
I've seen the Arcadia Publishing books. They're all over St. Louis, the various neighborhoods, and I think there's a World's Fair version, stuff like that. I've seen them, so I know exactly what you're talking about and how they're
Yeah,
put
it's gonna
together.
Be part of them.
Uh-huh,
At least
yeah.
one book.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, we've got.
So you guys can still see my computer screen at home?
Yes.
Okay, with my download scans? Can you see that? Are you
Yep.
seeing my Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, you guys that are in here, come around and look at me, look over my shoulder. Because as you can see, this is my album where I keep all my photos, and you can see I've got them dated by years. So and Karen, you talked about scanning. These are all pictures that have been scanned by me or others in the family over the years. This was scanned from a glass negative.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Yeah.
Look at
Big job.
that.
So the important thing is when you do scan, make sure that you label it very clearly. Like, in this
Oh,
case, Gibbler's my grandpa, J.E., he's Jesse Earl, and he's a senior, and that was from 1911. So, don't just scan it and let the scanner assign a name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
make
that.
sure-
That's awesome.
Actually, my mom always referred to this as a sleeping Jesus picture. I don't know why she called it that, but she did. Anyway, so and I've been going through and doing vacation pictures and actually stereo pictures because my dad did a lot of stereo photography.
Mhm.
So I've got the stereo pairs here and this is set up. It is. And this is set up because I'd sent it to Schiller's and have it printed. So I set up but most of my stereo pairs are set up like that. That's me
is
on
that
the
you?
left. And see, even on the stereo picture, I have what it is, the location. So whatever you do, when you scan your stuff, make sure,
You give it-
because, yeah, even 20 years from now, somebody's not gonna know what is going on in 1960.
Is that you?
That's me. In 1960.
Oh my gosh.
I'd broken my leg ice skating. So anyway, it's important. And see, I just named that broken leg. I clearly need to embellish that name. So just make sure that when you do this, and I came up with a system like Gibbler here, Jesse Earl, junior and senior, father and son on on somebody's birthday. So that's really important because 20 years from now, I'm gonna be gone, my sister's likely gonna be gone, and her kids are gonna go, who is that
Mm.
I've
person?
got 2 boxes of photos like that from my aunt. My
Yeah,
mother's 94, my aunt would be
Wow.
97 if she was alive. And my cousin and I are like trying to figure out
Who's who?
who are all, some of them are like early 1900s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, who are these people?
and
My
so,
mom passed away 3 years ago, and there was this picture that she had and it's not marked and nobody knows who the heck it is. But I took it because I'm like, well, somebody,
Boxes like that.
nobody knows who it is. So it's like,
And the same album contains the scans or the downloads for all my digital photography. And I will say, my digital photography is named the way the camera names it, but the folders identify what's in there. So if I ever would take the photos out of that folder, if I'd ever take the pictures out of that folder, I'd change image 7342 to a name that would be appropriate so that the person,
yeah.
so that the legacy goes with the digital file.
Cool.
So,
May I say something?
That's great, Yvonne.
okay, so that's,
Very organized.
yeah.
So nice. I know that one's not.
Well, I know, but this is a great topic though. This is important to know. So,
Lola would like to say.
yes,
I have, for example, landscapes. Under landscapes, I have trees and, no, I might have beaches. And then under those, I have one semicolon, the date, and then the name.
perfect.
So,
But if it ever comes out of that folder, that may not be enough information. Keep that in mind. As long as you keep it in that folder that, you
Right,
you
right,
had
right.
that kind of stair step
Okay,
level of
okay.
filing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So there's another subject about this.
Okay.
Yeah, that I'd like to bring up because
Okay.
I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but I have lost 2 external hard drives that I had a lot of stuff on. Well, I had stuff on the last one back to 2016, including all my raw files. And I need those for some of the work that I get. Anyway, what has always saved me, if whether my computer has crashed on me or my external hard drive has crashed on me, is subscribing to a cloud service. And I mean, I have a lot on SmugMug and a lot on Flickr, but it's not set up in the same way and it doesn't, I mean, I want it all. Yeah. So, I highly recommend a cloud service because they can save you. I had to have one for my business. Now I just want it for me. Let's see, what do I have right now?
I mean, like Apple has a cloud.
Yes. Right, mine is, I forget what mine's called, but yes,
Has cloud storage.
right.
I use Backblaze, and that seems quite reliable.
What is it?
Great. Backblaze?
Yeah,
BACK,
yeah, then the word blaze.
BLAZ.
Charge a certain amount per month. It's not terribly expensive and they're very cognizant of sort of making sure you get emails that they're backing things up and yeah, I don't know if any of you have heard of Jeff Hirsch, but he helped me set it up.
It's great.
Full resolution photo storage and 5 gigabyte of video storage at no cost.
That's great.
Amazon.
Excellent.
So when my external hard drive crashed, oh, I was so disappointed. I took it in Micro Center and they said, we'll fix this for $2,000. Maybe if we can even do that. They're used to working with big corporations, I guess. But anyway, I said, no, we can't do that. But anyway, I went into my cloud service and they had everything backed up to 2021. So I was really happy about that. I'll take it. Anyway, just a point because, we're talking about, how do we share it and preserve it and all that sort of thing. But then with all the digital, how do we make sure we can hold on to it?
Right,
That's really so important,
Because it is a flaky world.
It's a flaky world.
Okay. So, how old are your kids? Karen, how old are your kids?
My kids are 45 and 48, but I have 6 grandkids, that range from 7 to 23. So it's a big family.
Okay, now we're gonna move to Cindy. I'm bringing the computer over to you. Are you guys getting seasick from the walking? Well, it's so they can hear. So, We got Holly, we've got, Beth Goyer,
Oh,
and Sherry Teefy's a new member, and Kate Sprague.
well, I'm quite impressed with our high tech here.
We are so high tech.
On the Facebook page, there is a link that all the applications go to. On,
Back up and elaborate because Sherry's new and she
oh,
doesn't.
Sherry, hi, Sherry. Welcome. We are doing a
you.
show. Yeah, I'm glad. It's always nice to have a new person. We're doing a show in Belleville, Illinois called the Rooted Gallery. Green Root.
Green Root Gallery.
Green Root Gallery. Well, it all sounds alike to me. I just know the email address, that's all. And what that entails is basically, this one is actually a very good first one if you've never been in a gallery show before, because he's accepting any kind of media. He's accepting any books. If you have made earrings with your photography, if you've done t-shirts, whatever you've done, coffee cups, he said he's willing to take it. And of course, as long as it's, good quality and all that. But I don't even feel like I have to say that with this group. So anyway, so we are starting out with giving everybody 3 pieces a person, but supposedly it's got not unlimited, but a lot of space. But last time we had 22 people times 3, that's 66. The size is not a criteria. However, I requested if it's bigger than like 24 by 36, that's poster size, right? That you just kind of touch base with us to make sure that I didn't want anyone coming in, and we have had this, someone coming in with like a 4 by 6. And us going, oh, where is it gonna go? Just the weight and everything else. So it's just precautionary. You apply online. I don't have to deal with applications or anything like that. So you do that on the link online. And I also replied to an email a couple days ago that you sent out that had everybody had the membership list. And I reiterated the show and the links in that email too. The email has to be done by, I think it was April 27th by midnight. And the reason I say that is I have yet to submit because they're asking for titles and pieces. And I haven't figured that out yet. You can do something that you've previously shown. As a matter of fact, I would even encourage it. And if we have more space, why not? It's sitting on my floor in my house.
Well, and that was kind of one reason why Holly and I set up the contest because.
You're so clever. I figured that. I
Well,
thought that.
because those pictures that you post there might be pictures appropriate for the show. In fact,
The tapestry of nature's the theme, but I'll also tell you, the theme is not like, we're not going to judge anybody or we're letting you interpret it. So if you, and for instance,
but
like
you
you're
don't want to
like,
put a picture of, well, I was gonna say your puppy
Well-
dog, but your puppy dog's nature.
yeah, and a building is still outside and it can be abstract
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I mean, and that's the kind of work I do more so is more abstract. So
But not your family picture.
no family. And frankly, that's for every show.
Yeah.
I have grandchildren.
Nobody wants to.
2 weeks ago, I had the cutest
Yeah.
little baby boy grandchild,
Yeah.
cutest ever. But I'm not gonna put his photo up in a gallery,
Well, our goal is to have photos that people will
Buy.
hopefully buy.
price.
Right.
The guy says things over 250 don't sell as well. However, I don't expect anyone to take a bath. And like, if I would decide to sell a one that I have in a custom frame that cost me 400 by the time I framed it, I'm not selling it for 250. And also Kimberly, who's not on the call, Kimberly sold a piece in his gallery for like 450. So you figure if it can be metal, it can be frameless, it can be,
Wire hung.
it has to be wire, yeah.
Sawtooth.
It has to be ready to hang.
Yeah.
The only way it won't get hung is if you go and find out you didn't put anything to hang, wire or the sawtooth.
The other thing is that it can be metal, it can be whatever. I mean, I would highly recommend, though, because we're a group of quality, I would just try to keep to an acid-free matting. I don't think anybody would want to buy a photo without acid-free matting. Not, it's a couple dollars more, but that's the only thing I would recommend, just because, you know, we are a group of photographers
And
and,
even if you buy pre-cut mats, most of those are.
Yeah, those
acid-free.
are
Just take a look at
yeah,
it.
I doubt you'd even find one anymore that isn't, but I'm just saying that. So like, you know, no Scotch tape, that kind of thing. So, that's the only thing, just, you know, to maintain the quality. But it can have a frame, it can have any kind of frame, it can be frameless, it can be metal, it can be canvas. For instance, I've got some canvas that I've been hanging on the wall of a couple of my trips to France. One's lavender fields and another one is
Perfect.
so it's not my favorite work, but it's there and I'm moving and I'd love to not, you know, I was using it kind of to fill up space then. So I mean, I'm really going through things that I already have because that fit the theme.
Sure.
And some of the things you guys have seen, some of the things you haven't. Oh, if you want to do any photos and sleeves, you know, those sleeves that people buy frameless, he's taking those too.
Oh, loose photos.
Loose photos.
Okay.
And so the only thing I would request is that they're in a sleeve with a board in there, just like you would find in any. And that's mainly for the protection of it all.
Probably Amazon.
Or
Michael's maybe.
Michael's, or what's the other art show?
Hobby Lobby.
No, on Big Bend.
Oh, Dick Blick. No, Dick Blick. Art
Yeah,
Mart.
Dick Blick
That
Art
used to be
Mart.
Art.
And also if anybody's gonna have them, post it online and see if anybody bought it first, because they come in like 25 or something like that. So, right. I'm hoping if I can't get it done by May, I'm hoping to at least get it done. The show goes to the end of July.
And once it's open,
And opening night is,
And how about delivery of the pieces?
I'm glad you asked.
she set up an event.
Yes.
This is something I'm trying to get us to do, to set up events for show hanging, show takedown.
That's great.
So there is an event out there. Thank you
But
for doing
what I would like to do is set up, and I will do, I'll post this. I want to set up a time so I can get a couple volunteers to take things over there. So not all 22 of us have to go to Belleville.
Absolutely.
This is on May 3rd. I think Karen Zelli sent me the invoice on Facebook. Said that it was May 3rd.
Yeah, but the art has to be there by like April 29th or something. May 3rd. May 3rd, is that when?
So
I don't have.
I thought that was opening night.
Hold
That was
on,
open.
hold on.
yeah, she said.
Hold on. I got Facebook right here, gang.
Sorry, guys, I was working till night and I didn't have time to prepare today, even though I meant to at 7 o'clock this morning.
Art, where is it?
I'd be much better for y'all if I was retired.
Did you set up an event?
I think I thought I said opening night and I set up applications. I didn't set up yet a time
Okay.
to take things out.
We need to do that.
Yeah.
So
And,
set
but I
up
need
an
some
event.
volunteers too. He wanted them by the 29th, I thought.
I think that might be what you
And
said.
so, which is let's see, the 21st is Monday. That would be a week from Monday.
No, yeah,
29th is a Tuesday.
What?
That's the third.
Yeah, but you have to have you have to have the pictures to him before the show.
the show opens the 3rd.
Yeah,
Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
29th, yeah, I thought it was on the main night.
right. So the stuff has to get to him. I thought he said by the 29th. Yeah. So I mean, it's in the email or it was in the directions, I think somewhere.
So,
This is,
that doesn't mean that's the day we drop off. We have to get them to him no later than next Tuesday.
will you do by tomorrow night, do an event?
Yeah,
and-
I opened
and
up
lay
the
out-
event.
I
Open up the
did-
application. I thought it was all.
I don't have it handy. I
Okay.
don't know where to look for it. That's why
do.
do an event and put all those details. The
Thought I had
the application can go in the files. Are you guys familiar with looking for things in the
Well,
files
the
folder?
application is a link. It isn't a.
Oops, ignore her. That's
The
a cool,
application is a link. It isn't a piece of paper. You have to apply.
okay,
online.
so put the link on and the
Deadline for
listing.
participation is 27th of on April 27th, midnight. Size, media, if you want more 3, please check. Please comment. So no, I didn't put it in there. I apologize. So, I will put in the event on when we need, but we need to get them over there before opening night. I do have opening night in here. Let me double check. I got it. I got the event. Let me go to events.
I don't.
Not on the 3rd. The opening night is the
It's
3rd.
not in the events.
Yeah, it is. Oh, drop off. I got Saturday drop off is May 3rd. Okay, I did it. Okay, drop off is May 3rd.
Why am I not seeing it? Find event?
Go events. It's drop off is May 3rd. And then the show is, thought I did, May 9th. May 9th is opening night. There's an event for drop off and there's an event for opening night. So we need people to volunteer on May 3rd if you have a SUV or van. And I don't even mind throwing in money for gas. I would do it, my car will not take.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping we could maybe like meet here or something. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I drove I've been over there before. It's not that big of a deal.
so
It's-
Friday, May 9th is opening night. And again, if we want to carpool out there on opening night, it's early. It's 5 o'clock.
I am not seeing this at all.
Yeah, it's early. It's like just 5 to 7. So I mean, if we want to do a dinner in Belleville or something after opening night, we could do something like that. If people want to do that, go. I mean, frankly, I doubt I get anybody from my side to go because they live in Cottleville and I don't know if they want to drive from Cottleville to Belleville. So I do have events in there. I got events for opening night. I got events for the date we need to get together and take things down. But you need to get, and the other thing that was the deadline is you need to get your
There it
application in by the deadline that was set too. And the reason I haven't done it yet is I don't know what I'm going to show. And so in the application, it's just not your name, price, and that kind of thing. You have to actually put in there your title of your piece and what you're going to show. And if you don't know what you're going to show, it's hard to do a title. Even though I guess I could do like photo 101 or whatever they do. You know, untitled. When you say untitled, period.
No, come up with yeah, you've got time to
Yeah.
figure it out. Send it as complete as possible.
Yeah, do.
And I will do like a screen capture of the application and I'll email it to you.
And if we can,
Oh, she did send, okay.
and if we can get people out there, maybe who can I bring? Maybe it would be good. I mean, the galleries really love it when you get opening night traffic. It looks, the group doesn't look. Now, at one time I had 22 people participating, but I'm not seeing those numbers when I posted or anything in the Facebook page. So,
Well, right now we have 4 going. In
right,
fact, I'm not even there.
that's far from 22. July, 5 to 7, 5 to 7 is opening night.
Did you, when you,
Shoot, I had trouble getting here at 6:30 and I came from Jefferson County, so, because I work out by the Gravois Bluff.
when you set up the,
I mean, again, I could ask him if he could do it like 6 to 8. I'll tell him that we came to the meeting and that we've got a lot of people that work and it's really difficult. It would be better for me. I know
Yes.
right.
That's fine, yeah. I could probably get there at 5, but if people want to come 5 to 7 seats, so, yeah. So 6 to 8.
One of the-
5 is closed, so getting there from Jefferson County means going through the city.
yeah.
One of the things
I had trouble getting here.
From Kirkwood.
No, I was down at Gravois. I work down by Gravois Bluffs. And so, I mean, I'm just on the edge of My company is right by the edge of Gravoy Bluffs and Jeffco.
I can pick you up sometime.
Oh.
On an hour.
There you go. I may take you up on that. I may take you up. And it's not that far. It's just for those of us that are, that area is new to me, so. I always think of being in high school and how going down there was like a real trip. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. We're by the Joyce, whatever
Oh,
The
Joyce
first
Myers
time-
Minister.
ministry.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah. Tell me that. I was gonna keep it nice. All I know is she must take in a lot of money. I swear she puts deer,
yeah.
she puts deer on her property just because it's gated like that. It's big high gates all the way around it. And I swear she puts the deer in there. It's just like, oh, the deer are frolicking on her property, you know?
Eating the grass so she doesn't have to pay to cut it.
Oh, no, she,
Oh.
She
no,
has a
frankly,
manicure.
she has a black guy, and this is what I think is kind of weird. All her groundkeepers, I haven't seen out of all the, because I see them working,
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen one white guy. They're all
Well, good. She's
So good for her.
DEI.
I don't think it's DEI.
When I was filling out the application, I had problems with one of the ones that I want to do because it only takes 10 megabytes or whatever.
Oh,
And
well, that
and
picture,
if you do raw,
but that is just for him to be able to print. It isn't for him to be able to photo. So if there's some way you can
Don't
make it.
send him raw photos, send him JPEGs.
oh, I tried.
And you just need
You
it
can
so that it
scale
will
it
print
down.
like this in a
Like on a
in a
flyer.
brochure. You don't need it so it can print.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
You know, so I-
Do a save as and then scale
Actually,
down and save it.
Karen, you may know this better than I. Because I'm not always good at this. It's better to send any photo that you show in a gallery in a less quality, nice enough to print like this in a brochure,
Like 4 by
but
6.
definitely not in a quality that they could take that file and print things themselves.
Okay, I will.
It's good enough to print for a brochure, but
Okay.
it's not.
I was trying just to,
No.
I'm
Send
not
it.
real well known on how to transfer.
No, it's a good question. I'm glad you mentioned it because it's really easy to think, well, I'll just send what I had printed at, you know, wherever, the lab.
What's in my files? I was. just
Right,
looking
and
at
in
my
reality, that's a really good, I'm glad you brought that.
Just. For those of you online too, when you save the photo, make a copy of your photo, do a save as, name it low res.
files. Okay.
Okay, so that you won't accidentally save over your file.
Okay.
And then once you saved it as a low res, or you saved the name low res, then go in and scale it down to.
That's a really good reminder.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really, because I do it all the time. I'm in a hurry and I just want to cut and paste attach it and go. And in reality, you really shouldn't trust anyone enough to, you know, especially like in his gallery, if he got your finished file,
Yeah.
then he could go off and print them himself and then just sell it
Yeah. it
without
was-
you even knowing
it
it.
was the one that was in the Missouri Conservation one that I.
Oh, cool.
I would definitely not send that one out. I mean, not that he would do that. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I've never met him. We've just met on email, but I wouldn't trust anybody with my finished work like that.
And it's just, he doesn't need it that big.
'Cause
If
I've
he's
had a
doing
tough life.
brochure, having worked in the graphic arts field,
You
when
know,
somebody says, oh, I've got a, 18 by 20 raw file
Right.
that I've saved as a JPEG. But so it ends up being, well, I'll give you an example.
it ends up being really big.
Oh, it's huge. It's
It's
huge.
As a matter of
I was
fact,
just-
it- if you don't have Dropbox or something like that, you can't even send it through Gmail.
No,
And I'm sure he doesn't want all of us uploading all his storage and space on. And also I know he's gonna print brochures and stuff. So you know, if he was smart, what he'd do is he'd take that big file of yours and he's gonna make it less so that he can print it on a brochure.
okay, so here, my raw file is 45 megabytes.
Yeah.
Okay. that file as a JPEG is 22 megabytes. That's still way too big. So I'm gonna open it,
Probably want to get it down to what, 5?
probably,
6, something
well,
like that.
so I'm gonna do a save as. And
Retitle it.
it actually, on my computer, it comes up save as, and it puts the word copy in there.
Right.
I don't know what it does on a PC, but
It
so I,
does that on PCs too.
so, and I usually save it to my desktop so that I, don't put it into the same folder, because I don't want to keep that file. It means nothing to
Unless the
me.
publisher calls you.
Yeah. And then I go in and I change image size. Okay, so my image size is 23 inches by 15.5 inches at 300 DPI. Well, that's a poster.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, that's a poster. So, I'd make it, at the very least.
Like
Yeah,
150.
and
Because there's a lot of things that I wanna enter that I
Right.
can't because my sizes are too big. I do
So-
a bunch of.
so you just go through
Well,
and
that's
you,
because
and you
you're
save
expecting
it.
them as a finished product to, even when you submit them, they're not asking for a finished
Time.
product. And they'll probably even tell you they have an optimal, when you submit, they have a file size.
A lot of things have.
Yeah.
Okay, so my scaled down file is. Oh, that's not it. I didn't do it right. But my scaled down file is gonna be 2 or 3 megabytes at the most. Okay, and that should email. I didn't save it right. I didn't scale it. I didn't.
Ask you this question.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thank you, I'm sorry for taking.
No.
No, I think it's it's good because I forget all the time. And I do want to submit more things too. This group has been really, this group is, to me, I was thinking this on the way here, when I was listening to you guys in the car, we've really come far.
Yeah,
This group almost was.
336 kilobytes.
This group
Okay.
almost disappeared.
That's 4 by
There was like
6 at
7 of us
150
left or
DPI.
something.
Thank you.
So, I mean, several years ago, I think there was before you and Kimberly took it over, Yvonne, there was like 7 of us left or something. There wasn't that many
We had
people.
just a handful at our meetings.
Yeah.
And now here we are on Zoom.
And here, I mean, I'm talking about shows where the last one we had 22 people. I'm hoping this one we at least have a good dozen.
How many did we have for the Centers for Spiritual Living?
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
mean,
is great,
and frankly, it was a good thing you didn't have more
because
because,
the room was not that huge.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to participate because of,
Yeah.
There last weekend.
Did you? Good.
favorite new grandson that was born.
That's good.
But yeah,
Okay, anything else, ladies?
sorry I wasn't so organized.
No,
Just gotta take down. Oh, yes. Is anybody else had trouble?
uploading photos to the folder.
Texture, tapestry, thing? No.
Well,
Have you tried?
I haven't, but I wanna know how many we can submit.
As many as you want.
As many as you want. It start out, I mean, I think you're gonna be fine because
No.
and we initially said 22 people. I don't think we're
I've
gonna
got
have
like
that.
7 or 8 maybe.
The contest.
The contest, as many as you want.
Okay.
I mean, don't put 50 out there,
Okay.
okay.
Just wanna-
but
I saw the different ideas. I just wanna know how.
No,
many
I gotta
we
get
can
mine
have
uploaded to the
done.
contest too.
got 2 weeks, week and a half. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about it. Nobody else, well, who else? The photos, you email them to me, so I uploaded them for you.
Thank you. Facebook page, no problem whatsoever.
You have to go into the file. Do you go into the file sec?
We'll talk
Okay.
about it. We'll talk about it. We don't need to do that on Zoom.
That's true.
Oh, and Marty
So is
joined us.
everybody
Hi,
here gonna
Marty.
Participate then?
In the Belleville show?
Yeah, in the Belleville show, who's gonna participate? Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And did any of you say yes on Facebook page? So
Hey, you guys online,
happy to take your stuff down
unmute and
there.
tell us if you're gonna participate in the Green Root Gallery show.
I said maybe.
Who's that?
Holly.
Holly, okay.
Well, I just encourage you that it doesn't have to be new stuff. Then you can show,
And that's why the
Existing work.
folder gets us thinking. I'm using some of the pictures that I uploaded for the show.
And also, you don't actually have to even frame it. You know, if you want to hang it, there has to be some kind of framing, but you could also put it in sleeves too, if you wanted to.
Well, I think they should be framed.
Well,
Framed or
yeah, but you can-
finished, a finished
I-
piece.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna have my frame pieces, but I'm gonna put some in sleeves too.
Well, that, yes, but
Right.
for what's on the wall, it needs some sort of
Because you
either
could do-
frame or board
Yeah,
mount.
on the wall, you definitely have to have it on
Yeah.
metal framed or whatever,
Canvas.
but there's frameless frames. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
just the glass and stuff you
Right.
can get. I'm thinking of doing some of that, of just doing the frameless and he's very laid back. This isn't like showing it at the galleries before or anything like that. It's just, you guys, you're gonna want your work. I'm not worried. You're gonna want your work to look good. You're not gonna do anything that won't make your work look good.
So
I'm
those-
really not worried about
Those
it.
of you online, please go out to the event for for the Green Root Gallery show and indicate, by saying that you're going, that you're going to
Or
participate in
even
the show.
after the application, just because I don't have any way of knowing the applications go to him, so I have no way of knowing who's gonna participate.
Okay.
So,
Well, if you go on to the event page and put going, that is the indication that you're going to hang a picture.
well, and the other thing, we're kind of going to a new market in Belleville. All of our shows have been here in St. Louis. So that's why I think having existing work is fine, because you're really showing it to a whole new group of people.
Awesome.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Anything else, ladies?
So just to reiterate, 29th, the third takedown for the sake of the.
Okay.
And
The third.
April 29th, we're taking down a Center for Spiritual Living.
Two, I volunteer to meet here on the third, say 9 AM. If anybody doesn't want to go to Belleville. and
You've
do-
got the email that has everybody on it. Send out an email if you want to do
Or,
it that
or
way.
post it on.
She's not on Facebook.
And then I'll
anymore.
post it. You email me and I'll post it for you.
But send out the email. You may have a tough battle with it.
I'm missing a little bit with the outside space.
Yeah.
You can set it private and you can set it just for this group.
See, I don't know how to do that, but I need to figure out how to do that, because this would really be the only reason why I would do that.
I don't know if it's laziness on my part or it's just, it's nice to have one central source of information for people. Because when you start sending out emails, this is what my emails scare me. I don't look at I'm closing on a house next week. I'm looking at my email every day. Well, in theory, we'll see. It's
Yay.
supposed to be April 8th. I got approved. I got the work done. Now everyone else needs to do their job. And that's where it becomes interesting.
Yay.
So yeah, I'm excited. So we, I was gonna say, I got all excited about that. Oh, anyway, I have found that I'm afraid that if I have different sources of information, that what happens is people don't know where they can go and what they can do. So like the event page helps. I understand though, personally, but you can set it so that the only thing you would go on Facebook for would be this page.
I don't know how to do that, but
We'll figure-
I need to talk
Yeah,
to you
let's-
because I'd like to do that. so I
You don't
can
have to
sort
tell
of-
anybody you're on it. You
Okay.
can put a Missy Sunshine or whatever. Actually, it's already.
Come up with
fun in
a
the
new,
Yeah,
a
you
new
can have-
ID.
We don't. I go with by Fun in the Sun. That's my incognito.
All right, then just make it active again, but once I'm.
You could create a new
But you
one.
know what? Create a new account, Sally, WIFSTL.
And then you just set it at the most private
So your
setting.
last name's not there and you just go and send me a friend request?
And me.
Well,
And
no,
then, no, and then you go on the Women in Focus St. Louis page, and then you just ask to join.
but I may have to send her an invitation to join. Yeah. So come up with a,
Wait for me to react, is there not? a way to react?
If you reactivate it, I'm afraid everybody on your friends list will know that you are on it again. And if your goal is just to have accessibility to the Woman in Focus page and not let everybody, oh, welcome back. Da, 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 da. That's up to you though. That's up to you. It's not that hard it's not that hard. It's not
I
that,
mean, that would be the simplest way. Sally, WIFSTL. There's no last name, so nobody's gonna search for Sally.
you don't have to
Simpson
put
and
your
go.
photo up there. You can put a
Yeah.
picture of your dog, cat,
Yeah.
tree, whatever you want.
Nothing. You don't even have to have a photo.
So, and then you can also have the settings so that nothing that you would do or say, and it won't say, oh, Sally.
It's private. That's really.
Mine are really, I have very private. The only thing that,
Okay, I-
nothing opens up for me.
We're gonna, in this, you guys are okay now? Any questions online? Anybody?
Do we have a phone? A phone list?
Question?
Question? Oh, you're not doing anymore? Do we have a phone list of members?
Here it is.
It's been sent out numerous times.
Okay, no, like I said, I'm sure it has been. I think we may want a few
Okay.
people to call.
Okay, so
We're done.
any questions, guys, online? If not, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nice seeing y'all.
Thank you.
And you.
Man,